Here's a question no doubt many of you market followers and traders are asking. Does the recent tech stock drop on Friday and then on Monday herald the end of the huge momentum trade that we have been in? It's a great question. Let's get some answers. Welcome to Trading Nation. I'm Brian Sullivan, joined now by Pravit Chintawongvanich. He's the head of derivative strategy at Macro Risk Advisors. Pravit, obviously on Tuesday, the market had a little bit of lift. We got some bids into the tech stocks. Do you think that little mini swoon, I don't know what else to call it, I'm not going to call it a crash, mini swoon Friday and Monday was the start of something bigger or just maybe a two-day wonder?
It could be the start of something bigger. So I think the important thing to take away from the sell-off we saw on Friday and to a lesser extent yesterday was that it was really a sell-off about momentum. Now, we did see the high-flying tech names this year, like your FANG, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google. Those stocks did take a hit. But really what we saw was it wasn't just the big cap tech stocks that have captured everyone's attention. What we saw was really that the best performing stocks, so looking year to date, the best performing stocks were actually the worst performers on Friday and Monday, and vice versa. Some of the worst performing stocks in energy and retail were among the best performers. And actually what we did is we took stock returns year to date, we sorted those into buckets, and we found that this is quite a smooth relationship. So not only in tech, but also across big cap and small cap names, in energy, in the financials and healthcare, you really saw this relationship of the best performing stocks having a give back and some of the worst performing stocks rallying. What
can we garner from that? What do we learn from that?
So I think that we do see these kind of unwinds of the momentum trade happen from time to time. Probably the most recent example that comes to mind was March 2014, and back then you saw something very similar. I think the hot sector du jour was biotech, but you also had stocks like Tesla and some of your kind of like Amazon, Netflix, that type of stock. Basically, your very growthy stocks, took a nosedive too, while the broader market was mostly unscathed because you had other sectors to come in to kind of pick up the slack. And and this time you're having the financials and energy pick up some of the slack from tech selling off. So I think the broader takeaway is that this doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't necessarily mean doom is coming. I think you may see a little bit more give back in these high momentum names. I mean, that may take a little bit more time to play out, but generally we've seen historically when you have these momentum unwinds, they don't necessarily mean bad things for the broader market.
Could they mean good things for the market?
Yes and no. I mean, if you look at March 2014...
You go up every day, Pravit, it's not a good thing. In my opinion, in my 20 years doing this, going up every day sometimes leads to bad things.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's why you've seen kind of this violent, 1 to 2 day give back in the names that have gone up the most. I mean, you've definitely seen a bit of rotation and people kind of coming out of that and that momentum factor kind of underperforming. So I think that, those the Nvidias or the Netflix of the world, I mean, those stocks can maybe continue to take pain in the short term as this stuff kind of unwinds. But in the end, it is healthy that you are kind of seeing this rebalancing out of, some of the highly favored tech names into the financials and energy stocks.
One final question. I had a trader tell me, kind of literally basically grabbed me on the street while he was introduced by a friend of a friend. And he said, if the market ever does roll over, you got to watch the names that have kind of gotten us here. Particularly, he singled out Tesla and Netflix as being higher risk if the market does turn. Would you agree with that? Or is everything going to sell off together, or are some names like those subject to more risk if things do turn?
Oh, I think those type of names are definitely subject to more risk. I mean, those are very, very growthy stocks, and there's definitely a lot of optimism built into what they can do going forward. So, I mean, those stocks themselves are definitely, I would say, higher risk than the rest of the market. I would just say that they're not necessarily bellwethers. Just because, Nvidia or Netflix rolls over a couple percent, it doesn't necessarily mean bad things for the broader market.
Pravit Chintawongvanich, I really appreciate your time today on Trading Nation. Thank you so much. Really insightful information, and we'll look forward to having you back on again soon.
Thank you.
Take care.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.